a doctor?" "Oh, no, my lady. You needn't bother. I'm sure the agonizing pain will soon subside." "Evie," she said. "I insist you call me Evie." Wilfrid raised a hand as if to shield himself from further injury. "Yes, of course, Evie." Grimacing, he curled up into a tight ball. Evie had the distinct impression he wished to roll around the lawn, but was in fact employing the utmost control to regain a modicum of male dignity, and doing his best to straighten. Turning slightly, she gestured to Tom and mouthed, "Help him." Tom shrugged. Yes, indeed. What could he do? She supposed it could have been worse. "Would you like some tea?" she offered. Wilfrid Hartigan's face scrunched up and paled, matching the pristine white of Evie's gown. He now looked utterly horrified. It seemed the offer of tea had caused him more pain than a croquet ball hitting his knee. Tom approached, crouched down, and handed Wilfrid Hartigan a small silver flask. Looking at it, Wilfrid hesitated. "Oh, do go on. I'm sure the others won't mind," Evie encouraged. Nodding, he took the flask and downed the contents in greedy gulps. Returning the empty flask, he said, "I think perhaps I should refrain from further participating in any competitive activities." Oh, but he had looked so confident standing there with his mallet and his brilliant smile. Honestly, if she lived to be 100, she would still fail to gain any insightful understanding of the male species. At a nod from Wilfrid, Tom clasped his hands around his arm and helped him up. "If you need us, we'll be in the library," Tom said, and headed back inside with Wilfrid hobbling beside him. Evie turned and saw her other guests reaching the crest in the hill as they returned from their walk around the park. Thinking it would take them a good 15 minutes to walk all the way back, Evie strolled toward the dowagers and sat down. Henrietta patted her hand. "Evangeline, you mustn't fret." "I had no intention of fretting. That was nothing but an accident." The dowagers exchanged a look, and Evie noticed her granny joining in the silent conversation. Since her much-anticipated arrival, Toodles had surprised Evie by settling in as if she were at home. Not a single word of complaint had passed her lips. Instead, she had praised everything, from her accommodation to the weather. It had surprised Evie because she had been expecting her granny to launch an offensive assault in an effort to dissuade Evie from making England her permanent home. Then again, when Toodles wanted something, she employed any means possible to get it, and that could involve underhanded means. Evie suspected she had yet to see her granny's best efforts at work, and she would no doubt deploy them when Evie least expected her to. Lifting her chin, Evie said, "Whatever is on your minds, I would appreciate it if you would all please spare me the details." Henrietta pursed her lips. Toodles took a sip of her lemonade and gave her the sweetest smile she reserved for her amusing remarks. "What more can we expect, I wonder? The man has been here 2 days. You have already nearly run him over with your roadster." "An accident," Evie murmured. "And it's not my roadster. It belongs to Tom." "Then you scalded the poor man with your hot tea," Toodles continued. "I've never known you to have butter fingers." "My finger twitched." The day before, when she had admittedly nearly ended Wilfrid's life, she had been taking driving lessons from Tom, and had been holding onto the steering wheel so hard her fingers had ached for the rest of the day. Even holding a teacup had been a trial. "Anyone would think you have an aversion to the man," Sarah exclaimed. "But we know that to be false because you invited him here yourself." "At your behest," Evie murmured. "As I recall, you asked me to provide you with a list of interesting men," Sarah said. "Wilfrid Hartigan happens to be one of them. He single-handedly resuscitated the publishing house he inherited from his grandfather. Visit anyone's library, and you will find a Hartigan